Greetings everyone, I am RSV. Here are 5 things I want to see come to Pso2 in the future. Firstly, I'm going to address the elephant in the room, horizontal content. I want to see more content that allows us to obtain stuff after doing a certain number of tasks, grinds, or whatever have you, as long as there is a cool reward at the end of a process, or there is a long list of collectibles to find. Maybe even have all those unique spots for the sound locations into a collection that gives you a reward when you find them all. Something like that would really flesh out the game a lot more, and right now I feel the game is very bare bones. 2. Content that actually requires you to gear your character. Currently in the game, BP is really negligible. For the most part, if you get free arms refiner on your equipment right now, you are well over the BP requirement for everything in most cases from my own experience. Might be different for other people's experience. About 2000 battle power is enough in my opinion for a full group of that battle power to clear the purple battle tier currently. But I'd like to see some much higher BP requirement on an instance that allows us to get even stronger after it. But it takes time to reach that point, so we can get more equipment after it. Maybe equipment that is bound to us, that way we can't sell it, and only people that enter that instance can get that equipment. 3. I'd like to see equipment be time gated in some way, shape or form. And yes, I said the evil word time gating, but in this case I think it's important. Currently in Pso2, you can obtain a complete set of gear on day 1 the moment that it comes out, which isn't good for the game. There needs to be some progression loop. Being able to get all the materials for a full set of gear in a day is not good. This includes buying out all the augments and etc. There needs to be some feature that mitigates all these things, and there just isn't at the moment, so some solution to this needs to be added to the game. 4. I'd like to see NPCs get expanded on more in NGS. In base game, NPCs were touched on and you could do quests for them and take them out and build up trust with them to get gifts on the daily. I want to see an expansion of that in NGS with the characters that we have currently. I want to see more value from it and just more interaction with those NPCs. That way they mean more to us, because currently, who the hell is Anga? Who the hell is Manon for that matter, the main character, allegedly. I'd like to also add an honorable mention to player housing, because everyone wants player housing, and player housing creates so much opportunities for a lot of cool stuff to be added to the game for our houses. But then finally, I'd like to see more interesting equipment. Currently, augmenting in the game is, well, put it simply, too easy. While I will acknowledge that there are people that don't know how to augment in this system, it is nowhere near as difficult as the one in base game. The one in base game, most people didn't know how to augment with, and on top of that, even if you did know how to augment with it, you were most likely using a website to plug in your augment, and if you were like me, making 50 Guardian Souls, you used it a lot. And in fact, you may have used 2 websites to do this, which I personally did. While I don't want the game to be that difficult, because that is very uninviting for the average player, and honestly, I don't want to make 50 Guardian Souls again, I will say that I think it is important for some complexity in the player power systems in the game. Maybe they can allow us to somewhat craft potentials or expand on some system to make the game more interesting. This will also give them a chance to make more divergent power-ups for gear, such as active abilities, creating a shield, or etc. There's something to spice up the gearing process and maybe add the crafting profession back to the game, because there was crafting in base game and it did somewhat contribute to player power. What do you want to see in the game, and what do you think is missing from the game currently? I've been RSD, and I will see you next time.